Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. How you doing today? Yes, Thursday in the middle of the fall, 2022. Exciting things happening. Coffee Conversations is the place where we have culturally relevant conversations, casual but compelling, right? All types of people from around the diaspora. We originate here. We're broadcasting live from Long Beach, California, to the diaspora, the world in a melanated space. Not preaching hate, just coming from a culturally relevant perspective. This is our perspective, our view, our Weltanschauung of the world. How you doing today? You doing okay? Exciting times now. Congratulations to Karen Bass is the mayor of Los Angeles, California. Wow, that's really great, and really excited about that. The first woman mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Second Black person, first one, Tom Bradley, y'all remember him. Karen Bass, she's well able for the job. She's been a community organizer, coalition builder for many, many years, went on to be, in the state assembly. And I think she began to even rose to speaker of the assembly in the state of California, went on to Congress, representing certain parts of our area out here on the West Coast, right? President of the Congressional Black Caucus. I think she might have even been the president of the state Black Caucus as well. Well able, long time mover and shaker in these here Southern California streets. And I think she is the right choice. Shout out to Rick Caruso. As we begin to analyze his campaign, yep, he's of that class that can kind of buy his way in and out of these elections. His own money, hundreds of millions of dollars spent on his campaign. But, truth be told, as we learned from Carolyn Fowler, who was with us earlier this week on Coffee Conversations with Greg J, it's like, okay, you know what? The guy has a legacy of being in the community, contributing, helping, supporting, lifting up in the community. So shout out to him. A lot before Karen Bass, as she takes the reins of the city. This Los Angeles is a great city, international city, second largest market in the entire country, second to New York. Karen Bass leading the way, hopefully towards some semblance of recovery, right? Because we're all going through it, man. Even here in Long Beach, we're going through it as we come out of the COVID pandemic, seeing a dramatic increase of the unhoused, seeing a dramatic increase of people suffering from mental illness. We're seeing a dramatic increase of crime, violence. Did you hear about the guy that was at the Target store down there? That would look like it was I think it's called 7th and Fig right there, where the Target is downtown Los Angeles. Guy goes in. They said he was screaming racist remarks to everybody, but they don't show him, so we don't know what that really means. But at any rate, he went in, got him a knife from the housewares department, stabbed a little boy, stabbed a woman, security guard, not the police, but security guard, shot him, killed him. We're in danger, even just all over the place. A lot of attacks are going on from people who are suffering from mental illness, people who are suffering from, the unhoused. It's just really, really bananas, Even in Long Beach, you've been seeing on the news how business owners, actually, those are my neighbors, where they're going down to City Hall and, letting City Council know that it's becoming increasingly violent. Business owners are, concerned for their safety. It is, man. It might have been complaints. Certain parts of Long Beach may look upon downtown as like, okay, this Mecca, they're putting all this money into it. But, trust and believe, it's a little crusty down there, especially after dark. I'm just going to tell you what I see. Nonetheless, the future is bright. Congratulations to Rex Richardson. He's, took him a week, but he finally, Susie Price conceded his opponent in the mayoral race. Rex Richardson is the first Black mayor of the city of Long Beach. And I think that's historic. I think that's important, given the history of Long Beach as I have become to know it. I think that when I look upon the history of Long Beach, I am glad that a Black person is in the mayor's seat. I think it's a long time coming. I think it's a long time coming. I think it's about time. And I have nothing but hope for the essence of our city under the leadership of this Black man. Now, yes, we can have the debate of whether or not you voted for somebody just because they're Black, and thus and so. I mean, well, I think we're a little more intelligent than that. I think we would peel back the layers. Of course, we want the brother to win, right? But you would peel back the layers to, examine your decision at the ballot box. That's just what it is. And so let's dispel that one. Although for me, I really did want the brother to win. That's just my perspective. And I think, because of a lot of cultural paradigms that I have observed within the city. And that's what it is for me. And I don't think any one politician has the answer to homelessness. If they go out there and say that they do, that would be probably an untruth, because the problem seems to be larger than what systems and a person's personality, in the person of a politician can do. I think it just takes all of us to reverse the tide of this here homelessness situation. Crime, I don't know. I mean, people, it's off the chain out here. People are, our safety. And I don't think it's just because, defund the police, all right? Even if you did defund the police a little bit, wouldn't it take some time for that shortcoming, if there is a shortcoming, to manifest itself? These are just my thoughts, right? We're having coffee conversations. Wouldn't it take some time just to manifest itself if shortcomings were to result from, defund the police? I don't know. I just think that we're in a time where there's a lot of people who, mental illness is real out here. Let's just call it what it is. A friend of mine was here over the summertime from South Africa, and he had observed, the homeless encampments and the people walking the streets, just crazy. I mean, you know what it is. They're running around stark raving mad out here, right? And he was like, what has got these people so zonked? The visual of the homeless encampments for him was like, was akin to the townships that are in South Africa, but what was beyond his imagination were see the people walking down the street, just straight mental illness. It's, straight craziness out here on these streets. Let's just call it what it is. It does hurt my heart that most of the people I see on the streets look like us, but it is also a direct connection to something that former police chief Bernard Parks shared with me one time, where he was really speaking from his heart. And he was like, man, as he traveled the streets of Los Angeles, traveled the streets of Southern California, and observed the unhoused, most of them looked like him, and it bothered him. Most of the people incarcerated looked like him. It bothered him, right? And I remember that conversation and how it hit my heart. It spoke to my heart. It pricked my heart. We got situations out here, circumstances. So Karen Bass and Rex Richardson and others who have now elevated or won their seats, you got a big job ahead of you, and so I can just say, go with God. And, we're trusting you to make the right decisions. We're trusting you to push forward for the people. We're trusting you to do your best as you confront the issues of the day. Sign of the times, right? I hope that you're outraged like you would be with the police shooting someone. When you see that over on the East Coast, University of Virginia, the young man went on a field trip with football players from the University of Virginia and others. They went on a field trip to Washington, D.C. He was actually on the bus there. He returned to Virginia. He pulls out a pistol and shoots and kills 3 people. Police killed him, right? Brothers killing brothers. I guess the story started to come out that the young man was, what's his name? Christopher Darnell Jones was, hazed or teased by the young people that he shot and killed. This hazing among us to get into institutions, to be a part of something, has always been something that vexed my spirit. I remember when the young woman was pledging for the AKAs, and they went out to the beach and they went out to the ocean, and I guess whatever the ceremony or the test was, the young woman didn't make it. She drowned. And I remember the mother coming to the radio station, and I remember her breaking down in tears, and I remember her, I was there, I saw it, right? And it really infuriated me that our organizations need to have these ceremonies that involve such severe physical harassment. And if it's not physical harassment, maybe a lot of people aren't as conditioned in their mind to accept that hazing as part of tradition, and it may infect their mind. You never know. I guess that's what we will find with this young man, Christopher Darnell Jones, University of Virginia. He was no longer a student. He was no longer on the football team, but somehow he got on that bus to the field trip and decided that he would take, looks like, revenge. I'm just following the stories. I'm not the police. I'm not an investigator. I'm just following the stories and just having a conversation with y'all. But he looks like he might have taken revenge or been affected by some sort of hazing ritual that he experienced while he was a student, while he was on the football team, and began to, he wanted to take it out on folks. Man, but still, brothers killing brothers, man, would y'all stop it? Man, we should be outraged. But we should also continue to push this narrative, which is relatively new, relatively in the, town square of the diaspora, in the village of, check on your mental health, check on your loved ones, make sure that they are seemingly balanced in these days and time, because anything could happen. Condolences to the families of those who were shot and killed. Condolences to those who witnessed the carnage. And, man, I'm just outraged. I just really don't. It doesn't sit well, that story. The brother at the University of Virginia. Whew, Lord, I hope that all of you all are keeping safe, keeping vigilant, because certainly out here in these streets, the unhoused are all around us. They're all, obviously in some sort of mental distress. Watch your back, be vigilant. We certainly always want to be benevolent, caring, loving, but also these days and time, you got to watch your back. Anything could happen clearly in this day and time. These brothers and sisters, people walking around homeless. Some of them, if you look upon their countenance, good grief, how long have you been out on these streets? Where have you been sleeping? I mean, they say for years, but a lot of them are young, you know what I'm saying? And so we have to really see and wonder where they have been. Yes, we want to be benevolent, but it appears that now a lot of violence is coming. Things could happen to us at the hands of the unhoused, at the hands of the mentally ill. So just watch your back, be careful, be vigilant, keep your eye on your family. Anything could happen. Sheriff deputies recruiting class out there in Whittier, California. They're out there at boot camp, sheriff's police boot camp, right? Running in formation, early morning run, the run, dawn, running, you know, singing their songs. Driver somehow turns going the wrong way, I guess opposite direction driver. Runs over like 25 deputy recruits. Several are critically injured. Somebody lost a limb. The reports are still coming in on the carnage that is happening from that tragic accident. Now, you know, thus far, as you know, the press conferences I've watched, thus far, they're saying it looks like, okay, it was an accident. But we never know. Certainly, you know, I will say driving these days is a little crazy, right? But this is a tragic occurrence. It's made national news. It's the lead story of the morning news on today. What a tragedy out there in Whittier. We are still monitoring our news sources to find out what the investigators will learn from this particular tragedy. It was really, really something to see the security video today. You know, I guess it was from one of those Ring, right? Somebody's Ring captured it, you know, the moment that the SUV plowed through this class of sheriff's deputies as they were out on their morning run. Such a tragedy, such a tragedy, such a tragedy. This is what I say, guard yourself, man. It's a lot going on. As a runner, I will say that city running is really, you know, kind of dangerous. And when you go along the street, if you run on the side of the street, there's a lot of drivers that really don't care about pedestrians or runners or all that. So you just really have to be careful. In this case, we could see anything could happen. Like we had said earlier, anything could happen out here in this world. It just seems like it would be, you know, things are getting a little crazier, a little more dangerous, a little more risky out here in our streets. Sending prayers up to all the families of those people. Yeah. Chief Luna used to be the police chief of Long Beach. He's the sheriff-elect. Swamped the guy, swamped Villanueva, and now will become our sheriff. I think they take office sometime in December, and I think that's a good thing. He seems like he would be well able to fix a lot of the issues that we see with the sheriff's department. I don't know how. It's not my profession. I don't know if Luna is even the right guy. I voted for him. I'll be honest with you. I voted for him because I just was on the in agreement with the statement that was saying, you know, Villanueva must go. I was in agreement with that. He lost me when he refused to answer the summons of the oversight panel, you know, as questions began to arise about the gangs that are in the sheriff's department. Questions began to arise about, you know, different aspects of, you know, the sheriff's policies and everything like that. And I feel like, you know, I was trying to give him a fair shake. And when he refused to go before those different committees, you know, he lost me. So, you know, there it is. Luna's in and Villanueva's out. And, you know, we can only hope for the best with regard to that police agency. Nationally, man, I guess today they're going to have Nancy Pelosi is going to have a press conference to express what her plans are in the coming congressional year. Just because, somebody broke into her home and attacked her husband, hit him upside the head with a hammer. The guy had to have, fractured his skull. He had to have, neurological surgery and stuff. And just these elected officials are in a really intense level of danger, these days. The whole January 6th episode should have shown you just what folks are capable of, just what kind of, mindset is out there. It's scary. It's really, really profound. And we're seeing what the quote unquote dominant culture is capable of doing. And we see what they really want to have happen, in this nation. And they're really threatening these lawmakers, but to break in the home of Nancy Pelosi and attack the husband. Now, we really need to see where the investigation is going to go, because I do believe it's interesting. I don't want to be promoting conspiracy theories. I'm just saying it is interesting that the guy even got into their house, right? She's a Speaker of the House. Isn't there like, you know what I'm saying, security? So I guess they secure her San Francisco home remotely. The Capitol Police, right? Capitol Police are in charge of the situation. And they didn't see exactly, what had happened. But be that as it may, these people in opposition of people like Ms. Pelosi are capable, intentional to get into their homes and attack their family. That's scary. That's scary. It lets you know what we are faced with. Meanwhile, their man, Donald Trump, says he's going to run for president again. Wow. But I guess the blessed hope from what I'm hearing from that narrative is that people in his own party will kind of diss him and get away from his, his rhetoric. Are we really over Donald Trump? I don't know that a lot of people, 70 million people voted for that fool in the last election. This is what I see. Good grief. So there's a lot of people out there who are with it. And that's what I say. They're with it. And that's just really, really beyond my imagination. Beyond my imagination. It's a crazy time out here. That's all I see, crazy time. I'm reflecting really deeply. I'm checking my notes to make sure I've covered almost everything I was supposed to cover today with you. And I think that I have, except for one last thing, and we'll get to it. But, listen, it's crazy out here. So I guess the only thing that we can do, those of us who are praying people, got to pray. Vibrate love, even in the face of adversity. I'm just thinking this whole diversity thing is a little difficult, but we still have to go about it, and we have to be about it. And if we are really people of peace and love, we really need to vibrate peace and love, like for real, in all of our actions. I was talking to somebody recently that regarding a stance that I took, okay? And they asked me, was I angry? And I was like, no, I'm not angry. I'm always about searching peace and love. trying to come to a common ground of understanding so that we can strengthen the beloved community as envisioned by Dr. Martin Luther King. That's me. I'm just out here trying to spread love. It's not about hate. There's all this hate speech out there, man. Anti-Blackness, anti-Semitism, anti-this, anti-that, hatred. Why? Because of the color of our skin. It's kind of a trip to really, boil that down, except to say that we do seek love and we do seek the character. The content of character is what we seek, right? But we got to keep it real. There's biases, there's microaggressions, there's, it's not easy walking around this, this country in this beautiful melanated cover that the Lord has blessed us with. It elicits feelings of hate, fear, misunderstanding, makes people want to subjugate us, keep us under their feet, keep us in a captive state. But we reject that narrative. We say that we are equal, we are humans, we are men and women created in God's image. And so we deserve to be here just like the rest. Now, my friend, Professor David Horn says, we look at recent times, maybe we need to at least consider going to Africa. I like that idea. And I like that idea a lot. Now, I think the formula, as my thesis begins to form in that space, is that maybe it is time to strengthen and build lines of commerce with our brothers and sisters on the continent. After all of those nations, 55 of them, were colonized, subject to systems of supremacy, colonization, marginalization. Even now, if we look at the nation of Ghana, generally us African descendants of slaves will come from that region of Africa. So Benin, Togo, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, Western, even all the way down to Angola and Namibia. The slave trade, the African slave trade back in the day was a massive financial institution. And so we that are in America here, what does Curtis Mayfield says, we the people who are darker than blue, we are more than likely, our DNA, our lineage, somebody in your bloodline came from that region of Africa. And I say that now that we have this consciousness, we're awakening here, we're having a cultural revolution. I think it's on us as American descendants of slaves to build relationships. And it's why here at the Hannibal Media Group and here at Dream Creator Studio, one central theme for us is to build bridges of music, arts, and culture with Africa and America. We want to dispel the myths about our African brothers and sisters. We want to uplift the trade opportunities, uplift the cultural connections that exist in this modern world. And so you keep tuning into this channel and you'll be seeing a lot of news about that, information, firsthand eyes of that. You've seen our pictures, you've seen our videos. We got a few more coming out and some news. We're actually preparing to make a sojourn to Ghana, and we'll be broadcasting live from Ghana to share with you even the more some analyses of Pan-African life. That's the whole thing. But I say all that to say, so Ghana, right? Okay, let's think about this for a minute. 2019, the government of Ghana proclaimed the year of return. Americans, Black Americans of all ilks, the richest of the rich, down to people who just look, I can just piece something together and get over there. Gathered in Ghana, spent money in Ghana, millions upon millions of dollars. I'm talking about our football players, our basketball players, the Steve Harveys, the Oprahs, everybody's going over to Ghana in 2019 for this year of return. The president says he wants, Africa is calling their children home, in the words of Dr. Arikana Chiambori-Kwao. People answered that call. They went over to seeds and went over to connect with their roots. They came with their money. They came with their time. They just took tourism to the nth level and added to the coffers of that great nation, Ghana, West Africa. Ghana is also rich in gold, one of the number one producers of gold in the world. It's rich in cocoa. It is them and Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are the top two countries that produce cocoa. So even when you go and you buy your Hershey's chocolate bar today, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever it is, or you go around the corner to get your Godiva, right? Gift giving time. Some of y'all gonna give some chocolates and whatnot to your loved ones. Understand that the seed, the root, the bean that chocolate is created from comes from Africa. Oh, the store might say it's Swiss chocolate, Belgium chocolate, all those fancy terms, and in our minds that elevates it to premium standards. But really what's happening there is, they got their beans from the cocoa farms in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Facts. Recently, they had the International Chocolate Festival, cocoa conference, the cocoa people from all over the world convening in Europe to talk about their business and their industry. And the two top producers of the cocoa bean boycotted. That's Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Ghana. Because the farmers are not realizing the wealth of the chocolate industry. And so this is an interesting thing, right? We need to support these farmers. We need to support and build our own. If we are in America, $1 trillion consumer segment, That's what I said, trillion, not billion, $1 trillion consumer segment, Black folks. Then I think a part of our advocacy for business should take a global position. And we begin to do our best to execute trade with our fellow brothers and sisters over on the continent. Now, it's not easy because you know what? In Ghana, they're not importing. Now, they're importing everything. They're not exporting. They're importing almost everything. It's actually kind of shocking. So, maybe, but an awakening is happening just like here. Cultural revolution is happening across the diaspora. So I think that the time now is rich for us to make connections with our brothers and sisters on the continent and create some sort of exchange. We do a little bit of exchange. We import coffee from Cameroon, West Africa. That's, it's a growing business. It's steady. But the thing of it is that we're doing the work that's required to strengthen these bridges. That our podcast, Afro Pop Radio, we were one of the first to begin to examine the world of Afro beats, which is different than Afrobeat. Yes, it is. Fela Kuti. Some of y'all connoisseurs know about Fela Kuti out there, right? In the 70s, while that is the primary influence from the current music, which is Afrobeat, with the S, Afrobeat is Fela Kuti's day. And that's what's up. Shout out, speaking of this African music, shout out to Rocky Dawuni, man. Got another Grammy nomination. Last year he was Grammy nominated. That's our good friend. Listen, Rocky lives in LA, him and his wife, and he's Ghanaian. He also maintains residence in Ghana. and he pioneered the whole Afro reggae, the mixture of reggae music with Ghanaian. And you hear a little bit of the Ghanaian high life in his music. Of course, it's reggae and everything. Last year, he got a Grammy nomination, and we were in Ghana at the same time, and I was able to surprise him at his concert that he had at the Plus 233 Jazz and Bar Grill in downtown Accra, Ghana. The then ambassador of the United States to Ghana was there. We met Brother KOD, one of the top fashion designers in Ghana, was there. We just rocked it to the music, man. I mean, I'm just telling you, the food was bomb, the vibe was bomb, and Rocky Dawuni's music, his band was tight. You know what I'm saying? It was really, really a great great experience. And congratulations to him. He got a Grammy nomination last year, and then this year, once again, nominated for a Grammy. Congratulations to him. On our way to Ghana, and we'll be visiting him while we're over there to experience Rocky Dawuni, my good friend over there in Ghana, West Africa. Man, I hope that you guys are safe out there. It's giving season. You know, I don't do much. I mean, I'm giving, you know, but I'm not into mix like I was before. You know, I was doing turkeys and all of that all across the city. And I was doing, you know, toys, you know, Stevie Wonder's House Full of Toys, you know, retired from that life, but now doing my own thing. I think we're going to do a toy drive, but not this year, just because we won't be here. We're going to be, you know, out into the diaspora. But I think that in this life, this new life of, you know, entrepreneuring, I think we're going to begin to, you know, help giving back even the more, you know, to community with tangible gifts like turkeys and toys. And it takes a measure of finance, and I think it takes a measure of planning. And so I think as depending on what happens with our experiences in Africa, we will come in 2023 with some really strong benevolent actions that are reflective of what we believe here at the Hannibal Media Group, what we believe here at Dream Creator Studio, emanating to the diaspora from the East Village Arts District in Long Beach, California. Emanating to the diaspora. That's what we're doing. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Got a couple comments in here. Let me see what y'all are talking about here. Is Bishop Irvin is out there, I see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, Leader Cole Dennis, thank you so much for coming in, you know, trying to make stuff happen. You know, lots of y'all coming in. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for what you do in the community. Glad to be serving. You know, I'm the president of the board now for the Arts Council for Long Beach. I'm really happy to serve in that capacity. I'm very humbled and just trying to bring, you know, leadership skills to the body, and, you know, and be right there with them as they rise. It's a very interesting space that I'm in this post, and really glad to serve alongside Griselda Suarez and the board of directors for the Arts Council for Long Beach. That's the arts of the entire city. So if you're listening to this and you're an artist, I know that I met some new friends whose daughter was a photographer. You know, go right there to artslb.org and get on their artist registry. If you paint, if you are part of a symphony, you sing, whatever your art is, go to artslb.org, get on the artist registry, and then you'll be privy to information that can help you support your art, right? There's grants, there's commissions, there's information, there's knowledge being shared through that portal that is important to you as an artist, you know. I would hope that you really take advantage. If you're in the Long Beach area, please do that. Please do that. If you know, see me out in the street, and when you ask me, look, how can this help me? I'm telling you, get on that artist registry, artslb.org, artslb.org. Still on the board of directors of the West Angeles Community Development Corporation. Really proud of the work that's going on there. Shout out to Dr. Belinda Allen, Carolyn Patton, all y'all over there, doing the thing. It's the the standard of faith-based community organizations building affordable housing all over South LA, particularly for seniors, delivering services, programs. One program of note is the home buyers education class. We've expanded into Long Beach, connected with that LBCEI, was that Long Beach Center for Economic Inclusion, and been doing, home buyers seminars, home buyer education seminars, I should say, in the city of Long Beach. But you can go to westangelescdc.com and find out all the information for that august body that was formed just after the rebellion of 1992, with the goal of empowering and elevating the Crenshaw corridor. It has grown leaps and bounds and is now the standard of faith-based community development. They're doing good work over there, and I'm proud to be on the board of directors there. I've been on the board for a very long time. I'm the secretary. And so, really still all about the community, all about uplifting our people. It is a mission. It is a ministry for me, is community involvement, right? Shout out to the African American Cultural Center of Long Beach. I see y'all growing and vibing and, evolving, in this cultural revolution. Nothing but vibrations of peace and positivity as you do the work that is required to roll over there. I think their website is aacclb.org, aacclb.org. Somebody hit me up in the chat. Maybe I'll put it in later to make sure that I got their website, together. They're, join them, follow them, support them. I'm supporting everybody. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get down. I believe in our people, and I think that it is imperative that we link up together and we join together, shoulder to shoulder in this life. The things are not for us, and so we have to create our own and be self-determinate. This is not to preach hate. So it's really just all about consciousness and preservation, self-determinate. One of my favorite cultural phrases towards self-determination is by the awesome, legendary soul poet, Brother James Brown. Says, I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Just open up the door. I can get it myself. That's the theme song, man. Self-determination. Let's build our own. Let's trade with one another. Let's reason together. Stop hating on one another. Love one another is what the deal is right there. You hear me say that all the time. Love one another. And that's what I'm saying to you. Love one another. Love one another. Love one another. Got a field trip we're organizing going to Ghana. You want to go? I want to see something. How many of y'all want to go? Let's go. Come on. Let's do a field trip together. Go to Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com. That's where you can find out some information about, our field trip going to Ghana in July 2023. Let's get it. You can find your latest news and everything right there, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com, particularly on the Beach City Perspective section. That's our news platform. Somebody hit me up the other day. They wanted to know about our music stream. We actually took it down just because we're under the hood around here with all of our platforms. And, that's just what it is. We're trying to come stronger and better and elevate to the next level with our media platforms. We will always be about media. We will always be about information, inspiration, innovation, observation from a diasporic perspective. That's what we're doing from a diasporic perspective. That's where we are, who we are, what we're doing over here. Yes, we are located in Long Beach, California, East Village Arts District, but we are global in our perspective. And this is where you can get that global information, all about the community, all about positivity, all about love. All right, y'all. You can get us on our Facebook page, Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Fast approaching 1,000 followers. That's a cool thing right there. We could use your help over on that YouTube page. Just go ahead and if you Google Coffee Conversations with Greg J on YouTube, it will pop up as a playlist. Like and subscribe there to help our algorithms there. We also repurpose our audio as a podcast, and you can get it wherever you get your favorite podcast. Spotify. Your Spotify thing is tight. The other day, like 2 or 3 people said, "Can I get it on Spotify?" Yes, you can. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Spreaker, just you name it, Amazon, just type it in, Coffee Conversations with Greg J, and it'll be there, and you get the full 411. I love y'all. Hope you love me too. Love one another. Peace and blessings.